Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I'll show you how I made these two bubble necklaces and a cute little extra little bonus necklace for you. Kind of looks like a sand dollar. Okay, another scrap clay project for you. Yay! So, you can use whatever scraps you got. This is actually from my previous project and I will leave a link below so you can check out that video. I'd appreciate it. Just chop up your clay, whatever you have. Make sure you don't have any cat hairs in there like I always do. And then start working it into a square shape. While I'm doing that, I do want to welcome you to my video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you check out all of my almost 200 videos, folks. Yeah! If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you are returning, welcome back. Okay, so I have it rolled out. You do want it to be pretty thick. Got it in my square shape. And I cut out this handy dandy little shape here. Cut out whatever shape you want, whatever makes you happy. And then I just put the little circles in the middle so I can kind of see how I want to put my own circles on my own cutout once I officially cut this out of my clay. You'll see as I go. It's just basically a guide. Whatever shape you have, or if you have a circle cutter or whatever cutter you have, cut out two shapes. You'll just need it big enough so that you can make your inner circles. I have mine cut out and I laid out where I want all of my circles to be cut from the inside. So I did that. It's all ready to go. So pretty. And you will need to make two of those. You'll need to bake those before continuing. I'm just using the edge of this like loaf pan that I have. I actually use it for baking quite a bit. My clay anyway. It's kind of an old pan, so I don't really use it for anything else. Place it on the corner, however you want it to be. Just keep in mind how it will lay on your neck area. I'm just kind of working it into the shape I need it to be. Have my second one already on there, all sneaky like. Go ahead and put that in the oven and bake it. And I do recommend using this exact clay. This is the first time I will ever say that. I usually say use whatever you want, but I really, really like the way this turns out with the alcohol inks. It is a pretty sparkly clay, and it is nice and firm and not really brittle. So I really recommend this clay. I will put a link in the description box below for you. And to contain all of the wonderful messies that are alcohol inks, I am going to put it on this handy dandy scrap piece of paper. And these are the alcohol inks that I will be using. You can use whatever you have though. And you could also use like powders if you have any chalk powders or mica powders or whatever you have. I'm just going to use these. I'm going to use some gloves just to keep my fingers from getting all messy. And I did pick out some colors that I thought were just pretty together. I really enjoy some of these colors. I think this one's like a bubblegum pink color. It's just very vibrant and very pretty. Put as many or as few dots of whatever colors or all colors on your clay. I'm just going to kind of space out the 4 colors that I have chosen. And then if I have any spaces in the end, I can actually come back and put some more dots of whatever color I feel like needs to go in those spaces. And the ink does dry pretty fast, so you'll have to work kind of feverishly to get all of these colors spread out before they dry on your clay. It was kind of a task there. I did have to go wash my paintbrush a couple of times when I was going from the dark to the light colors. But I filled it up, and I'm going to basically now take off some of the alcohol inks. Just using a scrap piece of paper and rolling my clay onto it gently. And you'll see here when I peel it up that it takes away some of the alcohol inks. Basically, I'm just going to kind of work that. If you have a piece of cloth, you can also kind of just wipe it over the top part of the clay, and this will help get off some of those inks also. This way they don't stick to your fingers, and it comes out really pretty in the end when you kind of stretch out the clay a little bit and you stretch out those colors. And you do kind of want it rather thin anyway, so from the small block we started off with to this piece, that's why I recommend this exact clay. It comes out really pretty in the end. Just stretch it to as thin as you think you can get it without the clay ripping. This clay is actually pretty strong and durable, so I was able to stretch it out pretty good. You'll want to use your clay and fill in these bubbles basically. There'll be two different ways that we're going to do it. One will come up through the bottom, and then one will go down through the top. To make sure you have enough of your alcohol inked clay, just cut the sheet directly in half, and you can put one aside with one piece, and then you can use the other one for the current piece you're working on. For this first one, we're going to go up through the bottom so that the holes kind of poke out the top and you have like little bubbles coming up through the openings. Just use your fingers and press up through the clay, trying to get them stretched out into that hole or opening. Just being careful, you do not want to rip the clay. I didn't actually feel like the clay was going to rip at all with this particular brand, but if you have a wetter clay or a warmer clay, then it might stretch and break. So once you have your holes all good to go, you'll kind of want to go around the outside rim of the clay just to get it to stick. And I didn't use any Bacon Bond, and it actually comes out okay in the end. If you feel like it's not going to stick for whatever reason, please feel free to use Bacon Bond so that your project comes out how you want it to be. Cut away all of the excess that is draped over the side. And then just use your finger and you can kind of smooth out the edges, get everything joined together. And then for the second one, I do want the front and the back to both have the pattern or the alcohol ink showing. So I'm just taking two pieces and folding them over each other. And since I'm going to be working in just the small holes this time, I'm just going to take a circle cutter larger than the circle that I am trying to put the hole through. Cut that, and then you'll put that on your open holes. See here that it's colored on both sides. Choose whatever color you want to be facing up. And then you just use your fingers, kind of like you did in the last one, and just gently press down into the hole. Again, mine came out fine. It stuck, even though it was dry to wet clay. It came out, but if you feel like yours is not sticking, or you want it to stick, or you feel like it's not going to come out, please use Bacon Bond if you have Bacon Bond, and you'll have a better bond. But mine came out really good in the end, and I didn't use any, so totally up to you. Just kind of pressing the clay down into the hole so that I have a nice little bubble or dip or kind of a plate look to it. Just using my fingers and working it. This will take a few minutes to go through each one of these holes. Put in a podcast, listen to whatever you want, jam to your own music. And with each one, as I finish it, I will cut off the excess clay. Just use a tissue blade or whatever you have to cut away all of the excess clay. And then you can use your fingers to smooth out those edges and kind of blend it over the top there. I have both of mine ready to go. I'll just need to pop those in the oven and bake them. I have baked them. You can resin if you want, but I think they already have a really pretty shine. So I'm going to leave it how it is and see how it goes. I did put a bead on each side of my necklace and then strung it through and then put a little toggle and clasp on the end. And for the second bonus idea here for the same scrap clay, got my scrap clay and I have this really cool mold shape. So I'm going to use these smaller hearts. You can use the larger hearts or whatever shape you want. I just thought the heart's going to look really good. And who doesn't love a heart, right? Makes everybody happy. You want it to be kind of thinner. So I'm just taking a piece of the scrap clay that I had rolled out and I'm going to place it in the inside of the heart. And I will do a second one there for the other side, just so I can get my heart shape in there. And this is going to be a hollow heart. I've done this in a few previous videos and I really like the concept and the idea. And you don't use a whole lot of clay this way and you still come out with a really pretty piece. So you can use a whole heart, completely firm, not hollow in the middle, or if you want to do it this way, you can too. It depends on what kind of cutters you have or what kind of mold you have. Once you have your heart shape in there, you're just going to slice off all of the excess clay that's kind of hanging up over the sides. And this is actually a really affordable mold. So I'll leave a link in the description box below. It is on Amazon if you want to go check it out. Just want to make sure everything's nice and flattened inside of there before popping it out. And I have some white clay. You can use whatever color, whatever brand you want of clay. I would recommend making it rather thick to start. And then you'll just need some circle cutters. I'm just using some random things that I have that I've used in the past, and then I came up with this idea too. I had my pen here sitting beside my desk, and I thought, you know what? I bet I can take the thing apart and make circle cutters on the fly. So I took out that center part there and the part where the ink goes inside. I just took off the cap, and I'm going to use that as a smaller circle cutter because I don't have anything that's super small. So just take your circle cutters and start cutting out little holes. And you can make it easy too by using the actual larger circle cutter you're going to use. So you can make sure you fill up the inner circle with circles that are cut out. You can kind of lay everything out and see how you want it to look before you make your final cut. And that's mine. Just move out all of those center pieces that you cut there. And then I'm going to distort the shape a little bit. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like the way it comes out in the end. So I'm just flattening it a little bit, kind of stretching it out between my fingers just to kind of get a more organic shape to it. Not so much like, hey, I took a circle cutter and cut it out. And then also to kind of fill in the little blanks that are around there, I'm just taking a random little wooden tool thing I have here and making little holes. And then just flipping it over so I can make sure the holes go all the way through the other side. And that to make sure that my piece is nice and flat. Make it look however you want it to look. In the end, it kind of comes out looking like a sand dollar. Just stretching it out a little bit here. Voila! Again, I'm going to be using my loaf pan to bake it right there on the corner so I have more of a domed, kind of a sand dollar shape. Just put that on the corner there, and once you kind of have it looking how you need it to be, just place your heart on there. And I do recommend putting a little bit of bacon bond at this time on here. And that way, since they're both kind of thinner pieces, they'll stick together a lot better. Once you have your bacon bond on there, just go ahead and press it pretty firmly against your white clay or whatever color clay you use. And once you have it on there in the center, ready to go, just go ahead and put that in the oven and bake it. And I just had this wire string here. You use whatever you want to hang it. Thought it was really cool. I just tucked it through those 2 holes. It came out perfect. I didn't have to drill anything. It just came out really good looking in the end. And I tried it on and it looks fabulous. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the first idea, the second idea, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!